It's the distant future of 2017, and the hottest TV show is a gladiator gauntlet where criminals have to defend their lives against a pack of psychopathic 80s wrestlers. That is until Arnie is thrown into the mix, who decides to fuck it all up. They messed with the wrong Austrian in The Running Man. Hello there, you loose units, and welcome back to another episode of Spicy Boy Rewind Reviews, where we go back into the back catalogue and have a look at a cult classic. And today we are looking at The Running Man. Released in 1987, adapted from a book written by Richard Buckman. No, I mean Richard Buckman. Okay, it's no secret that Richard Buckman is a pseudonym for Stephen King. This film is also directed by Detective Dave Starsky himself, Paul Michael Glaser. The story is based around a dystopian future of 2017, where the media work very closely with the government to manipulate the public to tell them what to do and what to think and how to act. This sounds familiar. Then enter Arnold Schwarzenegger, hot off the heels of The Predator. He's playing a police helicopter pilot here who ignores orders to shoot upon a group of poor, starving people in the city below. For his disobedience, he's thrust into a futuristic rubble nightmare prison, where the prisoners have explosives wrapped around their necks, and they lose their heads if they try and escape and go past the perimeter. This sounds familiar. Arnie escapes with the help of some freedom fighters here, and tries to flee Los Angeles because it's become a nightmarish, rubble-infested shithole war zone. So, pretty much modern-day LA. He bumps into Spanish hottie Maria Conchita Alonso, who ends up ratting him out to the authorities, and he is arrested. We then meet our sleazy, psychopathic game show host by the name of Killian, played here by real-life psychopathic game show host Richard Dawson. Killian is the quintessential 80s villain. He's rich, he's corrupt, he oozes greed and psychopathy, and he pulls a few strings with his connections with the government here to get Arnie on his hottest game show on TV, The Running Man, which is pretty much American Gladiators, but with real weapons and real death. Arnie, his old prison buddies, and even hottie Amber are all thrust into the reality show gauntlet of The Running Man, and they have to survive one whole night. And fuck me if it isn't a bloody gory good time. The concept for this film/story is absolutely perfect. It's one of those films you could say is more relevant now than ever. It has that cynical outside look of American media and politics, and you could say it's closely related to the film RoboCop. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they were based in the same universe. It's the perfect encapsulation of what the 80s thought the future would be. And they're not bloody far off, I tell you what. At the time of making this film, or when it was coming down the pipeline in pre-production, every action-leading man in Hollywood at the time was considered for the lead role of Ben Richards. Some that were considered were Dolph Lundgren, Christopher Reeves, Don Johnson, but the closest to get the role, and was even cast at one point, was none other than Patrick Swayze. All of these actors would have worked in the film to different degrees, but I think casting Arnie was perfect for the time of making that R-rated, gritty, futuristic schlock. The film is chock full of horrible one-liners, and all delivered by Arnie, respectively. We get larger-than-life characters here playing the stalkers, who are after the runners, slash Arnie here. They're all colourful, cheesy wrestling types, and more in the vein of comic book villains than gladiators. And they're also enormous and extremely buff, the majority of them anyway, so much so that they make Arnie look normal and regular up against them. We also get a fantastically cheesy character here by the name of Captain Freedom, a retired gladiator with a perfect score, played none other by the one and only Jesse Ventura. This shit will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus, just like me. We also get two freedom fighters here, one of them being the leader here, played by Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac and Dweezil Zappa, son of musical genius Frank Zappa. The budget for this film was about $27 million and grossed worldwide a little over $38 million, so unfortunately it wasn't a huge hit. However, it has gone on to absolute cult status. It was always a childhood favourite of mine in my house because it had everything. Action, cheesy one-liners, larger-than-life villains, an uprising, and Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger. I absolutely love this movie. Like I said, it's what the 80s thought the future would be. And to certain degrees, they were kind of right. An absolute must-watch for, schlocky 80s film buffs and absolutely Arnold Schwarzenegger fans. It's dark, it's gritty, it's lame in all the right ways. It is an absolute perfect viewing. Anyway, guys, that's my review of The Running Man, a rewind review, going back and look at the absolute cult classic. Write down below if you've seen it, what did you think of it, and what is another schlocky 80s dystopian future movie that you love? And of course, if you've made it this far into the episode, please give me a thumbs up, because your love and support keeps me going, because I just love movies, and I assume you do as well. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe icon, because I give out episodes weekly, and I'll see you back here next week for the next review, and until then, stay spooky, kids.